You are live, it tells me.
You won't come up there yet.
But it doesn't tell me how many people are in there. Oh, there it is. Yep, there we go. Good evening, everybody.
I got you.
Sorry if I'm still a little bit hoarse. It's the only way I'm built like a horse.
And I've got volume.
Thank you. So how are we all with all this shit that's been going on? Right, can we have that one off? No, okay. Right, I might be flitting backwards and forwards between cameras again tonight. We'll see how we go. Evening, Maureen, Jan, Missy, obviously, lovely Mrs. W in there and behind me. Got 10 in so far. Well, yeah, it's getting to be an exciting week, really, isn't it? Lots of shit coming out from the government over the cover-ups and things. But it looks like we might even be going to war. Thank you, Herr Starmer, for that one. Good evening, Karen. Hope you enjoyed your trip to Ireland. I like some of the pictures you were posting. Brings back a few memories. It wasn't too much of a delay on YouTube tonight. Well, yeah, we'll get it out of the way to start with. I had a hospital appointment on Monday. Various checks, amongst other things. On my last bit of fluids on these, this got to go now. And yeah, they've told me that it's probably 99.9999% that I've got COPD. They're going to refer me to a consultant for some more investigations. One is to find out why, because it could be actually connected to the scarring I've got down my throat and my esophagus, and maybe even scarring in the lungs. Before they do anything about it, they're going to issue me with a puffer thing, apparently. I've got to go in at some point and do some sleep tests, monitored sleep. That'll be interesting, considering the fatigue that gets me and the fact that I hardly ever sleep because of it, which is very strange. And also, they're going to test me for, pardon me, sleep apnea, because I do sometimes when I'm asleep. I don't notice it until I'm. It's not that I stop breathing; it's all of a sudden I struggle to breathe, and I have to get up and try and get some fresh air in my lungs, open a window, or whatever, stick my head out the window. So they want to do some investigations into that. Not a word about COVID or anything like that, because obviously COVID can cause these sort of symptoms. They never even asked me about that, although I don't believe it's that. I do have a bit of sinus issues going on as well up across here. Across the bridge of my nose, that's got to be looked into as well. So hopefully I'll live long enough to get these tests all done. Yeah, I did have a puffer before, Missy, but that was, what was it for? I can't remember what it was now. It was quite a few years ago. But as I explained to them, the other issue was with some of the jobs I've done, there could be all sorts of shit in my lungs. On the building, back in the day when I first started, we used to use lime mortar quite regularly. When I worked on the farms, and especially down in Cornwall, during the disease outbreaks, foot and mouth, and everything like that, and mad cow shit. Once the cows were dispatched that had it, obviously you had to burn them, bury them, whatever, and you were putting lime powder over them. And when I worked in the tanneries, I worked in 2 different tanneries where we did use some very, very nasty chemicals and powders, along with some acids and ammonia. And back then, health and safety was non-existent, basically, so you didn't get breathers, you weren't given masks. So it could be anything. Whether they'll ever find out, I don't know, but I've got to give them a chance to. So I'm just sitting and waiting for some appointments. I have got one. What's the date today? The 2nd, isn't it?
Yes.
2nd. I have got one next week with the haematologist, and then a phone call with her the week after. So, yeah, it's going to be quite a round. Let's change these glasses over. It's going to be quite a round of appointments. And, oh, look, I can see the chat now. And investments. No glare either from the screens. Look. But, yeah. That's the reason for me breathing issues. It has got worse over the last few months. This is one of the reasons I'm getting it looked into. It didn't really bother me that much before. It wasn't noticeable. But the fact now that I can't even get up to the toilet without getting out of breath, it's a bit concerning. But anyway, that's enough of my problems. Now we've got everybody else's problems, haven't we? It's called Starmer. For those that haven't been keeping up with what's been going on, apparently it's going right off in the Middle East. Everybody bombing everybody throwing rockets at everybody. And it looks like the Yanks and the Brits could be getting involved in this. And I don't just mean politically. I mean, it won't mean nothing to me. There's no way they can call me up. But my biggest worry is with the dross that we've got in this country, if they start calling people up to go out there, who's going to be here to keep this country safe? I think you all know what I mean by that. Because we've seen the police just don't cut it. They're not keeping anybody safe. They keep saying, oh, they're going to protect the women. But from what I see, it's mainly the women and the kids that are taking the brunt of the shit from these people, amongst others. It's and they're getting worse. They're absolutely getting worse. I mean, the Met Police now have got more people that are being criminally investigated over the David Carrick case. Apparently, I don't know whether they covered up or they just didn't bother investigating it properly. But, the Met's been under special measures for some time now. And unlike that was promised, I haven't seen Rowley getting rid of anybody yet. All he seems to be taking on is these woke school leavers, that most of them look like. They just ain't got a fucking clue. They ain't got a clue about the law. They ain't got a clue what they're doing. No, Missy, and that's the problem. That is absolutely the problem. I mean, we know girls and young kids have been targeted by a certain demographic for a long time. I'm not saying it's all them. There are some Brits out there, I'll call them, that indigenous, that are as bad, perverted, disgusting, evil little perverts, but they're not as prolific as certain other demographics, I'll say. And it's a sad affair, really, where you can get locked up for calling one for what they are. But if you actually are one, you're more likely to get a suspended sentence, as we've seen several times in the last week. I've seen 2 cases where some paedophiles, one was a paedophile, the other was, I think he sexually assaulted a woman. Didn't quite go as far as rape, but evening JW. But both of those actually got suspended sentences. Yes, they have to sign the perverts register and undergo treatment and stuff like that. But it's not the same as being banged up, is it? They're still on the streets. Their victims could still run into them, which I find very unnerving. We've had reports many a time of that, of girls that were abused in their young age are still seeing their abusers walking around the town. That, to me, is wrong. Very wrong. But there is one good thing on the Met side of things. Good evening, Scott. Okay, mate, no worries. The blue line gang badge that the Met like to wear. Evening, Stuart. Well, Rowley has now actually banned them from wearing it. But he still wouldn't admit what it was. And he come up with a bigger load of bullshit than what the police did themselves over it. Now, when any copper was always asked about it, they said it was for the police charity. Bowley came out and said it's not for a charity, it's in remembrance of fallen colleagues. So we've got 2 conflicting stories there. One from the people that were wearing it and one from the idiot who tells them what to do. I would be more in line with it being charity-led, although I don't like to see it being defaced like that. As the fact that paramedics wear one with a green line through the middle, and the fire brigade wear one with a red line through the middle. They only started wearing them after the police started wearing the ones with the blue line, which I won't say it contradicts anything, but yeah, it was annoying. Evening, Gypsy. Very annoying, and well, I say annoying, it absolutely pissed me off, was the fact that these wankers are arresting people in London for waving a Union Jack while wearing one on their uniform, making themselves total fucking hypocrites. But, that's just my opinion, obviously. But I do believe that the police now have lost control of what they do. They've been losing control of themselves for some time. But I think they have lost control in London. And now they've started to arrest, shall we say, other demographics other than white English people. I think they're going to come in for a lot more flack. And again, personal opinion, rightly so. They deserve it. But that one, yeah, I'm going to leave that there because I'll only go on about them and I could get myself into trouble. But Sadiq Khan now. We've had, I watched 2 versions of 1984 the other day. Might have not flashing if you have an Alexa. Yeah, Missy. Basically, it was through the televisions in the film. They had cameras built in, a bit like a lot of computers have now, and a lot of phones. We know they can be hacked. We know they can get into them. We know Alexa and Siri are listening. That's been absolutely proved. And we know they're monitoring elsewhere. Me and Heather have proved that ourselves. We did a couple of experiments a little while back where we were sat here for an hour, not on the internet, no microphone on, but we'd agreed to talk about subjects that we don't normally talk about, mentioning certain items, mentioning certain things. And within less than an hour, these things were popping up on Facebook, getting recommended on YouTube. So they are listening. We know this. Once you know this and you understand that they do it, it can be used to your advantage. It just means you have to be very careful what you're saying, even when you're not online. But yeah, which 2 versions was it, Missy? Was it the newer one and the original?
I think there are only the 2.
There's 2 original ones. Because the newer version with John Hurt is a very good version. It shows more of what can be done because it's more or less set in a more modern setting, as it were, than the original. You know, it had the added bonus of a bit of bushy, added nudity in there, but I mean, Animal Farm was on again the other day. Yeah, it's a cartoon version, but you know, it's got the message there. No, it's not on YouTube yet, Stuart. I've got it on CD, well, DVD, not CD. Heather bought it for me a little while back. She found it on, was it YouTube?
eBay.
eBay.
It was only a few quid on eBay. Non-expensive.
It's just on post on landline telephone. You can do, Missy, as long as you tell people like social services or the DWP that that's the only way to contact you, as you're not online. And they can't use the excuse that you can go into the job centre and use the computer now, because most of the job centres are stuck. They're finished. They're gone. Yeah, the 1958 was the thing. Yeah, that's the original one. That one is available on YouTube. Yeah, it is there, Stuart, but as you say, you got to pay to watch it.
If you're going to pay for watch it, you might as well pay for the DVD.
Yeah.
You can watch it as many times as you like.
As Heather just said, it's not that expensive on eBay, and you can watch it as many times as you want them.
Lend it out.
I mean, you could even copy it, couldn't you? Not that you should, because that would be
Not
illegal.
that you would.
That would be illegal. Yeah, I was hoping to get on Grumpy's on live on Saturday, but I was just feeling too rough. But TC and people like that, I don't bother with any of them. There's a lot of people that get in them streams that I just can't be arsed with, to be honest. I don't want to be anywhere around them. But yeah, we got all this stuff going on now with the dictators in the Labour Party accepting gifts. Well, it turns out now they're not the only ones. It turns out Sadiq Khan, dictator of London's on the bandwagon as well with them. Getting, I think it was somebody said he got over £100,000 worth of gifts as the mayor, including like Starmer, football tickets, shows, concerts. I wouldn't think he'd got any clothes because he always looks a scruffy little bastard, but but you'd think they could do something about him. And then, as I said in the video the other day, we've got the con jobs big powwow in Birmingham here. And yeah, Roland Rat, Sunak, was up in the town, local, opening a bakery. I didn't know about it until afterwards. It wasn't advertised anywhere. Otherwise, I would have managed to get myself up there somehow, even if Heather had to drop me off, just to stand in front of him and heckle him.
I bought you a milkshake.
Yeah, go up and throw a milkshake at the twat.
Got some eggs.
Yeah, he does a bit, JW. Nah, I can't stand Khan. He's
smarmy.
He's destroyed London. He's absolutely destroyed it. And considering he's supposed to be keeping the reins in on the Met, and the City of London Police. Don't forget, there's 2 separate police forces in London. He hasn't been doing a very good job. Although, from what I've seen, the City of London Police are getting a bit better than the Met. They seem to have wised up a bit more. They understand the people's feelings. Not saying all of them. It's still far and few between to find a good cop now, no matter where you are in the country, unfortunately. With most forces in special measures, not just the Met. Even here in Birmingham, the West Midlands Police, they're under special orders. I mean, I still haven't heard if there's been any arrests about this acid attack either. I don't know whether anybody can enlighten me on that, if anybody else has heard anything. The young girl is still in hospital. She's been seriously hurt. It's not life-threatening, but it's life-changing. Islam on his way. Oh, Lammy, yeah. Yeah, you don't know though, Missy. Maybe one of his donors is Nike or something. Or Reebok.
He was just travelling in his comfy trainers.
But yeah, he's another one that's a complete idiot. I mean, he's embarrassed the country in every other country he's been in. And he's another one that wants to get involved in this war that's going on in the Middle East. Well, as I keep saying, none of them are our wars. None of them. Why are we even getting involved, you know? all the millions and millions of pounds they're sending over there, that could go a long way to sorting out this country before sending it there, especially fucking Ukraine. You know, they've had enough as far as I'm concerned. And that nothing's ever moving there either. They're just backwards and forwards. It's going to be like Vietnam. There's going to be no winning side. But I was watching some of the speeches from the Conservative conference today with that prick. Oh God, what's his name? The one that was Chucky Dole's Chancellor. Cleverly, that's him, James Cleverly. What an absolute prick he is. Yes, sure, I saw that. There's a couple getting married there as well that met on it. Yeah, Cleverly. He was standing there, said, well, you know, the Labour want to go back into Europe. You've got Reform that want to stay out of the EU. But he didn't say where the Conservatives stand. You know? He hinted at a coalition between Reform and the Conservatives. Well, Farage has already said, well, that ain't never going to happen. He was the Chancellor for Chucky Dole when they crashed the economy. Can't remember what his position was under Rowland. But he's just a waste of space like the rest of them. Kimmy Badenoch was baiting everybody. Thank God fucking Diane Abbott didn't put her all in. Oh, Jesus. She's the biggest race baiter they've got in the fucking party.
She could have battled herself around in a circle.
Yeah, the Conservatives are gone. He kept saying they've got to build trust back up in the public. Well, if they all stepped down, I don't think anybody would have any trust in them anymore. But as I said, they weren't as bad as what Labour was going to be. I always said that, and I've been proved right. Pardon me. Yeah, he is Zelensky. Exactly, JW. He's a very, very bad actor. He's nothing more than a con man. When you look at him and then he's begging, you'd think the country is falling apart. But then you watch some videos from the Ukraine. He's begging for people to fight because they're running out of people. They've got old men on the front line. Yeah, you got all the youngsters pissing it up in nightclubs, driving flash motors, enjoying a high life like a lot of youngsters in any other city around the world. You know, it's a lot of the money he's had. There's no account of where it's gone. I do know he's bought 2 big properties in America. So obviously when the war goes tits up or he gets booted, that's where he's going. The Lodger, good evening, mate. No, she's a horrible woman, Missy. She's an absolute horrible woman. You know, she's there shouting about how bad the kids are nowadays and this. I mean, look at the state of her son. Got prisoned and everything, didn't he, you know? And she's another one. She's a hypocrite. She's just a race baiter. And calling her the mother of the house, well, that's insulting to the rest of the idiots in there, to be honest.
Just mean that they're waiting for her to take the rubbish out.
But fair play to, oh God, what's her name? Oh, fucking hell. I'm getting real bad with names at the moment. Duffield, Rosie Duffield. I mean, that resignation letter she put in about Starmer. Oof. Fair play to her on that one. I couldn't have put it better myself, what she put in that. I really couldn't.
You couldn't have been that eloquent.
Oh, and there goes the camera. Look, there we go. I knew it was going to happen. Come on.
Oh, dear.
Let's have the other one up. There we go. It's really weird that it only ever does it on StreamYard. I don't know why. It's set at the same rate as the this one. Very weird. Very, very weird indeed. But yeah, at the moment, I mean, I'll be honest with the way Farage is backwards and forwards. I'm not even convinced of him. But there's, what can we do? Other than the whole country standing up together and going down the route of the French Revolution and kicking them all out, dragging them out. I just don't know where we go from here with it all. Every single one that gets in power just seems to want to destroy the country and totally control the people. Flew over part right now. It's changing my face. Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me, Lodger. Yeah, they don't want to be flying, especially with any British flagged aircraft flying over Iran, do they? You might find they'll be going via Africa and fucking Australia before long with the way things are going over there.
Much safer taking the long way home.
Yeah. Take the slow boat from China. Although they're kicking up now, aren't they? Chinese people are starting to turn against the CCP. And now I've had first-hand experience of what Starmer's doing with the fucking thing's gone out of focus now. Look, I've got it on auto. Oh, for crying out loud. Hang on a minute, people. Come on. Oh, these cameras are really, really beginning to piss me off. What's its... I don't even know why they're doing it. Right. Let's... I'm just going to try something here, folks. Right, that's that one. It's not letting me anywhere near that one. Okay. Right, let's... Bear with me, guys. These cameras are really going to start pissing me off before long. And I don't know why they're doing it. That one, see, that one's perfectly fucking clear on there now. It's on autofocus, so that shouldn't be any issue with that. There we go. That one's back to being clear again now. Very strange. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know whether it's because I'm getting too close to it or what. But
Sit
right.
still.
Yeah, well, this is a problem. I can't with my back. I have to
I know.
keep moving, otherwise my muscles
I know.
go a bit weirdy on me.
I know.
Where was I? What was I talking about?
Not a clue.
No, neither have I.
Some woman.
Some woman. No, I'd finished with Rosie.
Had you?
Yeah.
Wasn't another woman. Wasn't another woman. Do you want me to go back and listen to what you were saying?
No, it's all right. No, we were talking about clowns running the country and that, weren't we? But it's, how many of the Conservatives took the sort of donations Labour have been doing? We knew Sunak used his position to rip us off for furlough for his missus and award contracts to different people that shouldn't have got them during the pandemic. But but they're starting the old. Oh, come on! You're supposed to reduce down your fucking thing. Oh, good God! This is really beginning to piss me off. Right, let's get rid of that for now. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's not okay. I keep losing where I am, but brain's going to pot here. Going on holiday next month. Nice one, Stuart. I mean, we won't be having one, well, until next year now. Oh, yeah. With what the DWP and that are doing and what Starmer's informed them to do. Now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, I've never had one before. I get a phone call saying that the DWP want to review the benefits. Okay, well, I'm only on one benefit, and that's sick pay. But our claim is a dual claim. We claim as a couple. So mine's just part of that. But they want to see my driving license or something like that, so photo ID, which has never been asked for before. But the biggest one is they want to see 4 months bank statements. Well, at the moment, because nothing from them goes into my bank, it all comes as one payment to Heather, as she's always paid the bills here. It all goes to her. If I want money, I ask. So at the moment, I've messaged them. I said, until I take some legal advice, I'm not going to supply them with any of my bank statements. I don't believe it's a legal process. Nothing's been written in law that they can see them or ask for them. Even the police, if they want to look at your bank accounts, have got to get a warrant. Until I've taken legal advice, I've told them that, flat refused. I said, no, you're not going to get any. And we've got until the 16th of next month, or this month as it is now, to supply them with that. So we'll see what they say, see if they get back to me.
You want to make sure you haven't got millions tucked away, as if you've got millions in a bank,
I'll show
them those bank statements anyway.
I'll show them what's in there, but I'm not going to show them any transactions. They can see how much is in the account. I'll quite happily show them that, but that's all. What part of Fuerteventura, Stuart? My favourite bit is Caleta de Futsi. It's a bit commercialised, but I quite liked it there. I know they're not allowed to build anymore on the island. They put that in place quite a few years ago. Any building that had been started, oh, you stay at Coletta as well, dear. They were allowed to finish them, but after that, no more was allowed to be built. We used to stay in a timeshare just below Chipmunk Mountain, as they call it, Stuart. Big complex up there. And the other thing is out there now around the Canaries, they got shark warnings, haven't they now? I know the sharks have always been there, but they've been coming closer and closer to the beaches. I watched a video the other day. You're in the main part, yeah, of quite a large hammerhead coming into the beach, literally within 15 feet of the beach, chasing bait fish. Yeah, that's what I mean, Missy. You know, they're quite happy to hide all their finances, what's going on with them, yet they want to intrude into our lives. And it's all to do with control. You know, if they see you doing something, I mean, you're allowed a certain amount of savings. Well, I haven't got any savings anyway, so that doesn't even come into it with me. But you're allowed a certain amount, but they want to see what your incomings are and your outgoings. Well, it's literally for control. And the thing is, once they've gone digital, get rid of cash, which they will still try to do, and they're slowly phasing it in places. If you look around, they've got complete control here. Oh, sounds like the puppy's getting told off next door.
One of them is.
One of them, yeah, probably Finn.
Yeah. Probably trying to eat the pup.
But yeah, it's very worrying. And I don't like that sort of intrusion. You know, if they want to know how much I've got in the bank, I'll tell them and I'll show them. But I don't see why I have to show them any transactions that they're personal. You don't know what they're going to do with them. And I don't even believe that they're legally entitled to them. It was just something that Starmer's put in place. Yeah, they might turn around and say, oh, it's the new rules. Well, rules aren't law. Yeah, you show me Starmer's bank statements and I'll show him mine. See how that one works. Plus the other one is, I don't know whether they still are because I haven't looked at what they've been paying. They were making some deductions from mine for allegedly 30 years ago when I was working somewhere down in Cornwall. Well, the place that they said I was working and signing at the same time, I'd never, ever worked at. Now, I asked them to show me any proof that somebody was working there because, you know, someone was using my name. Obviously, I need to know. And although it would be an old case, I'd like to pass that on to the police. But apparently they've got no absolute proof. They continued taking the money. And they told me it was up to me to prove that I didn't work there. Well, how can you prove that you didn't work anywhere?
That's like the one that they asked me to do, and that was to prove there was no income.
Yeah. Well, I did it back then. I didn't even have a bank account.
Well, how do you prove you're not working cash in hand?
Exactly.
You cannot prove
No.
a thing like that. You can prove nothing's going in your account,
Yep.
but you can't prove that you're not working cash in hand. And when I asked them what they wanted as proof, they couldn't tell me, but they needed me to prove it.
Yeah. You can't. Over 60. I think you'll find, JW, that you're not allowed any savings over £6,000. 6,000 is your limit. So that's possibly why. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, Missy. You know, I might be buying some private items on there, personal items, which is absolutely nothing to do with them. Absolutely nothing to do with them at all. You know, we go on holiday every year as cheap as possible up to Cumbria. We don't spend a lot of money up there. The only thing we usually buy is just the food, shopping, and some fishing bait. What are they going to do? Penalise me for that as well? Because I bought fishing bait. You know, and are they going to say, "Oh, you're doing too many miles in the car. You're not allowed to buy petrol now. We'll take that off your benefits." It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes, it was £6,000 allowed and a reduction from 6 to 16. How can you reduce 6 to 16? Don't get that one. I haven't had any savings for years, Jen. I never earned enough. Well, we'll probably get sanctioned anyway, Missy, because I'm refusing to send me bank statements in. I'll send them a copy of my driving licence. I don't mind that. You know, it's ID. It's a government department. If they want to know who they're paying, yes, I'll quite happily provide them with a copy of that. But
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't send them in, but fully redacted, so all they can see is what's gone in and what's come out.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, someone did say that in my comments today. Before you photocopy them and scan them, black out who the money was going to.
Yeah.
And just have the amounts. That's quite a good idea, actually. So it's taken off for every time. Oh, I get you, JW. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've never had an issue with. Whenever I had any very large amounts in my bank account, I was always working and never claiming. So, but this was another thing with the deductions they were making for this alleged overpayment. Now, I hadn't heard anything for about 20 years about it. And all of a sudden, I've been working. I was working full time. You know, I was at the hospital here for God knows how many years, building sites, all done PAYE. But they didn't start taking deductions until I actually started claiming sick pay. Then they decided they were going to make deductions. Yeah, exactly, Missy. They shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. I mean, I will admit, During my years down in Cornwall, I did get caught once working and signing, and I paid that money back. I didn't go to court, but I had to go for an assessment over it, and I said yes, I could pay it back, which I did. End of. And then all of a sudden, this one comes along. Oh, you were working at such and such. I said, no, I wasn't.
And it's still coming out.
It's still coming out
Well,
now,
it
is
was last time I checked.
Okay.
Because I don't even know what the balance is.
No, I haven't heard from them for ages. Hopefully I might get to the bottom of it with this going through matey. That's
Yeah.
why I put that message on the in the journal. Right, go and find out what the fuck's going on here, you know. But I will record the phone call when they phone for the assessment. I'm going to keep a record of everything now. I even photo clip the messages backwards and forwards now. So I'm going to start keeping a record of what they do, because I don't think it's legal, half of what they're doing at the moment. You saying that's a mate of mine. He's quite regularly pops in here, actually. Craig, he's just come back from Marrakesh. And there's another couple of friends of mine from down in Cornwall. They're out in, I think it's Egypt at the moment. They flew out, was it last week? Yeah, that was it, because Christine got pulled up at security at Bristol Airport. Apparently she forgot that she had a corkscrew in her handbag, in her carry-on luggage. And they pulled her for that. Obviously, it could be classed as a dangerous weapon. But bear in mind, no matter where you go, in Europe especially, you've got all these extra taxes now. There's certain things you've got to have on your passport, otherwise you can be fined. Some want biometric readings from you, fingerprints, DNA sample, and shit like that. And that's one of the reasons I won't apply for another passport. Heather's never had one, and I won't have another one now. I won't put my money into any other country other than this one. Yeah, exactly, Missy. And the thing is, a lot of the EU countries, like Spain, Italy, and even mainland EU in the centre there, France, and what have you, they've got a bigger problem with immigrants and thieves and scammers than we have in this country. I mean, there was another one the other day said they want to leave the EU. France has been hinting at it. Italy, obviously Poland, Hungary. Yeah, they want nothing to do with it anymore. Yeah, there's millions and millions of pounds going backwards and forwards, but they'd rather it's because you're an easy target, Missy. That's all it is. The smaller person that don't know what they're doing, don't know the ways around things, they're an easy target. And the thing is, with places like Spain, where they insist that you've got to have so much money with you before you're allowed in. People know you're going to have that money. Okay, yes, it might be in a bank and you might need a card to access it. But then they just, kidnap you, take your card, force you to put the number in. Boom. That's always been on the cards, JW, excuse the pun. He's like Sunak. He's in favour of the Chinese credit system. That's always on the cards. And they will bring that in if they push it as part of the cashless society. And this is why on the streets now, the police are putting up these facial recognition cameras in shopping centres. Yeah, exactly, Stuart. That's just what I was going to say. They're doing it in shopping centres, mainly in the bigger cities and towns at the moment, where they insist that you take hats off, face coverings, when you walk through in front of the camera. They use the bullshit excuse, we're trying to see if you're wanted. Well, how's that going to work? Because they've only just started it. They haven't got any biometric readings, facial recognition of you. So what have they got to match it up to? They haven't. So that's all bullshit. They can put a section, what is it? Is it 50A? Or something like that, where they can force you to remove face coverings. But then you can just turn around and walk away because it's only enforced in certain areas. And if you go in that area, yes, you've got to take it off, like they do around protests. I mean, I would kick up merry fuck if they told me to walk through in front of a camera. Yeah, but the thing is, Stuart, that's what I'm saying. They take these facial recognition things using these new cameras, but there's nothing to put that to because they've only just started using them. Yes, they can take pictures off of CCTV, but bear in mind they've always told everybody that those photos aren't good enough to identify anybody. So that kicks that argument into touch. I'd rather walk round the back of the town to get to the other end than walk through the middle if they put one up here. I wouldn't stand for it. Yes, you can say the same as the auditors do and those that do film in public. There's no, expectation of privacy in public, but you're entitled by law to create your own privacy. Stu, good evening. Yeah, but it's not just the glasses, mate. They take all the profiles from places all around your body, all around your face, and match them up. Unless you've got your face covered, even with some of the coverings that people use, they can still match your faces with profiles. Yeah, Missy, I mean, that was the big thing years ago. We want to take your fingerprints for no matter whatever thing. But there's only certain offences now that they can take their fingerprints. Where they just walk up with these things in public. If you haven't committed any, I think it's recordable offence, they can't legally take your fingerprint. Yeah, hello, wee one. Yeah, it's some of the shit they've got going on is unbelievable. It really is. And the thing is, they can start using AI now. And I mean, I'll be honest, people that post things using AI, I don't normally look at and don't react to on Facebook, YouTube. because I think it's one of the worst things that's coming in. That camera went all out of fucking focus again then. I mean, I'm saying that the thumbnail for this stream, I used an AI picture that was made for me. But it was a cartoon, you know, that was it. You know, these glasses do that, art, Stu. The computer glasses, they're designed to do the reflection jobs. Oh, these cameras are really, really pissing me off.
Maybe you send glasses.
Yeah, I was a bad boy years ago, Missy. But there again, my fingerprints were all on cards back then. So whether they put them on the database, I mean, the last time I had my fingerprints taken were, oh, fuck me, it must be, well over more than 40 years ago. Well over it.
So they should be past the statute of limitation.
Yeah.
Should be in the bin by now.
In the bin. I'm in the bin. That's that old joke with the copper with the truncheon, isn't it? Chasing the bloke down the alleyway, steps at the end because he can't see him. If I'd have caught that little bastard, I'd have shoved his truncheon straight up his ass. And the little voice come back with, I'm in the bin. Yeah, this is the problem, JW. I mean, you think about it, they've arrested people and they've got the photograph of the perpetrator and the person they arrest looks nothing like it. You know what I mean? They're idiots. I mean, look at it. I think the biggest cock up at the moment was, what's her name? Hatsan, is it? The one. No, I'm not mafioso. Is she? She's an ex-Muslim that converted to Christianity. She goes to Speaker's Corner. Now, the last time the police arrested her for a non-crime, they paid her 10 grand in compensation. She had some equipment stolen in front of her, in front of the police. They didn't do nothing. They arrested her. She got stabbed. They did nothing. They arrested her. And they arrested her again. And she's just been awarded another 10 grand in compensation. Now, as a police force, if you'd had to pay someone out twice, 10 grand a pop, you'd think twice about rearresting, wouldn't you? You'd look into it properly. Not the Met. No. They're too thick. Yeah, Stu, I've got a picture on my driving license, obviously, and there's a picture on my old passport, both of which were took by either a camera box or by somebody for me to the proper formats. They didn't get, all they've got is a picture and a form with me signing it saying, yes, it is me. The passport one is quite funny, actually. I got a traffic warden to sign it because you have to get it witnessed on the back by a professional person. And yeah, I got the local traffic warden to sign it. But the funniest one I did was a few years ago. I don't know whether you know it now. A lot of people have forgotten about it. You have to renew your driving license every so often. Not actual renew the license, but it's to update the photograph. And this is how they act. I sent in the new form to renew it with exactly the same photograph that I had on the previous one. I didn't get any new ones done. So it was exactly the same photograph, but they used it, you know. Thank you, Flyby. Yeah, I'm a bit under the weather, mate. And my health ain't getting any better. It's getting worse more than anything. I'm actually, now I've got a lot more confirmed about my health. I'm going to actually apply for PIP for a bit of a top up. I'd always had it in the back of my head, hoping that some of the symptoms would get better, especially over the strokes, with the fatigue and that, but they're not getting any better. In fact, one or two are getting worse. Now I've been diagnosed with other problems as well. Yeah, I've got more than enough to apply for it. You'd have to have one taken, Missy. The phone booths in the post offices or somewhere like that. But you can't renew your driving license now without a photograph. You don't need photo ID. But if you've still got the original paper license, a lot of those were legal until you're 70 years old. If you've got one of those, they are still legal. You do not need the new photograph one, as long as you haven't changed the address or changed any details on it, like getting married or something like that. The old green ones are still perfectly legal, the old paper ones. Heather's already applied for hers, Jen. Obviously being disabled and what have you.
Yeah, I've got a cold, Jen, not COPD.
Yeah, she hasn't got the COPD, the same as me. Yeah, she predicted she put COPD. Yeah, Heather hasn't got that. Yeah, that was the only reason I ended up with a photograph one, Stu, was because I changed the address so often that once they bought the plastic card ones in, obviously I had to send it in for change of address to make it legal. And that's when I had to pay the extra.
I've needed it more and more as photo ID, especially when it comes to getting a job.
Yeah, it's all about ID now. I can understand it with the amount of immigration and shit we've got, especially those working illegally.
Hell yeah.
But we never used to have it before. I mean, fuck me, I used to be able to walk on a building site and give me a day's work. If you think I'm worth it, employ me. They'd ask for your name and national insurance number, and that was it. You didn't even have to prove it was your name. They're not just long-term, Missy. They're actually permanent. And the only one that might change if they can find out what's causing it is the polycythemia. But there isn't much hope of curing that because they don't even know what's causing it. So I mean, the other issue I got is, well, as you probably noticed tonight, my memories gets a lot worse at times. The doctor I saw on Monday, she was going to do another test, but she did notice that I was struggling, and she said, "Well, you nearly passed out then, didn't you?" And I said, "Well, yeah." She said, "No, I could see it just in the way you were sitting." She said, "So I'm not going to push you any further." She said, I can tell you now that you've got COPD. She said, there's, yeah, I knew about it, Stu, but I will also assume that, most people would change over anyway because it was just easier to keep a card in your wallet. But apparently, yes, they are still legal. They have, at least when I have changed mine to the card, I've still got my entitlement on there to tow a caravan, tow trailers, drive a truck up to 7.5 ton. Whereas nowadays, anybody taking their test has to take separate tests for doing all that. Good evening, Phil. The only thing they have removed was my motorcycle entitlement. When I inquired about it, they said, well, basically, you haven't had a bike for over 20 years. You've never registered one or insured one. So they removed the entitlement. They said they would reinstate it, no problems, if I had my original test certificate. Yeah, good luck with finding that. Yeah. Well over 40 odd years ago. Way over 40 years ago. So if I want it back on there, I'd have to take the test again, which I don't intend to do because I'm in no fit state to ride a bike now anyway. I'd be a danger on one to myself and anybody else around me, to be honest. Yeah, I haven't got my wallet here. Yeah, I'm still even a van, small lorry with an articulated trailer on as well. Stu, I can drive. Yeah, and this is the thing, Stu. This is this has always been my bugbear. They want too much information. You've got no privacy with them, with what they're trying to do, and this is why I'm saying that I'm not going to supply the full fucking bank statements to DWP. It's personal information. I've still got my old passport in the drawer here, JW. Well out of date. I mean, I had one. Oh, where was it? I had to use it as ID because when I had the photo taken, I didn't have a beard or a very small beard like this. But when they asked to see my driving license, I had my big, full, bushy beard. And they said, well, it doesn't look like you. I said, well, no, what do you want me to do? Get a new picture every bloody time I grow a beard? Go fuck yourselves. Yeah, I renewed mine not so long back, JW. But the worst thing is it's not up for renewal now until 2029, which is quite amusing because that means it's only a year before my 70th birthday.
So's mine.
Which means I'll only have that one a year and then I'll have to renew it again because I'm over 70 and I'll have to start having to take the tests, eyesight and everything every 3 years. Not in law, Stu. Even the police, if they want to look into your bank account, they have to get a warrant. It's a rule that Starmer's put in place with DWP. I understand it. I understand why they're doing it, because there is a lot of benefit fraud that goes on. A hell of a lot. But it is an intrusion. And as I say, it's a rule. It's not law. Yes, they can punish you by it. They can sanction you because you refuse to do it. Well, they do that at the drop of a hat anyway. Evening, Taffy. Yeah, they do. It's everything now. I mean, look at the police. First words out of their mouth with anything now. Have you got any ID? Who are you? And most of the time, when they talk to people or what they're doing with people, they're not entitled to that information, not even when they search you. If the police pull you over for a search, stop you in the street, they do not have the right to ask you for your ID unless they found something on you or they're arresting you. Just for a search, you don't have to provide ID. They will say that, oh, well, if you want your search record, we're going to need to know who you are, which they don't, because they can give you a reference number for that search, whatever they're putting on their search record. And you can use that number to go to a police station to get the information on your search. But they will try and force your ID out of you. No. Your bank account, Stuart, is something personal. As far as I know, it's even the police, if they want to look into your bank, they have to have a warrant. If you insist on it. If you volunteer it, yes, that's fine. But if you don't want them to look into it and they still want to continue to look into it, then they have to get a warrant. No, that's always been in place, Stu. You have an absolute right to film in public. The auditing started in America. It was only once that became popular that people adopted it over here. I mean, I don't do any auditing. I've never have done. I have filmed the police, but that was only with an interaction I had with them. I didn't go out looking for them. They pulled a bloke and they were starting on him and giving him all sorts of bullshit during lockdown, during COVID. And I just told the guy, look, no, you're in the right. You don't have to provide them with these details. You don't have to tell them this. And they started having a go at me then. So, yeah, I got my phone out. And I had more of them around me than he did him. He had 2 of them dealing with him. I had 7 of the bastards around me, and I gave them shit. There is a video, I think it was on the second or third one I ever put on my channel. I posted the video of it. The DWP medicals, JW, you don't have to give them permission to look into your health records. I gave them a certain level of permission when they assessed me, because obviously I'm permanent sick now. I don't have to get sick notes. But I made sure they can only get access to the relevant information to the problems or the issues that I told them I had there and then. And that is the only bits they can look into. You can specify it. DVLA, yeah, well, we know they spread it around everywhere. The police have got access to them. But you can withhold your medical records. You've got to opt out the system. There was a system put in place by the Conservatives that the medical records can be shared. The police can ask for them. The council can get them. Plus private entities like insurance and things like that, unless you actually opt out. You can do it online in the NHS website, but bear in mind it's not under the privacy section or anything. The actual form to opt out of medical sharing is in the about page. They've kind of buried it and hidden it in there. But you can go into your doctor's surgery, your GP, and ask for the opt-out form. Most of them don't keep them, but you can insist if you're a patient at that GP surgery that they get one in for you or print one off.
But if you type it in on Google, it is quite easy to find.
Yeah, if you type it in on Google under the NHS website, it will come up. It's the opt-out section you want. And once you've done that, the NHS cannot share your information or your medical records with anybody unless it's by a court warrant or you've given permission. We clear blue sky here earlier on, Jim. It was raining this morning.
All the time I was driving, I had the wipers on. Only drizzled, but it wasn't dry.
My name hasn't been on a television licence for years, JW. Door knockers I don't entertain. I don't piss around with the census either. I had them knock on the door several times of that. Not the last one, but the one before. Querying what I'd filled in. And they said, oh, you know, the usual shit, you can be fined £1,000 for not filling this in. I said, no, you can't. I said, the only information you are legally entitled to is name, address, and age. Certain government bodies can ask for your national insurance number. But other than that, any other information you give them is voluntarily. You don't have to give it them. I mean, yes, we did mess them about. What was it? And how many vehicles at your disposal? Well, I put 500 plus. They queried that. How can you be entitled to 500 vehicles? I said, because that's how many the company I work for own. And any single one of them is at my disposal. I'm entitled to drive any single one of the company's vehicles. So therefore, my entitlement is 500 vehicles. One of the questions they always ask on them is, how many people in your household on such and such a date? Well, I put none, 0. Yet my mate, a mile away, he put over 300. They queried that. I said, well, we had a census party. Everybody was round his house that night at midnight. And they questioned all of it. I said, I answered honestly. I answered the questions you wanted. The ones I haven't answered is because you're not fucking entitled to them. And you'd be quite surprised if you knew where that information went that you put on there. Because the computers they used to collate it all were supplied or loaned to the British government by an American company called Lockheed Martin, who are actually funded by the CIA. So if you think that data was kept secure, think again. The CIA have got records on anybody that filled in that census. I'm not too sure about the last one, but the one before that, the CIA will have every bit of information on that. There you go. And YouTube, if you think that's misinformation, go fuck yourselves, because it's not. It has been proved. Hedgehog train. No, they actually knocked on my door, JW, on not the last one, the one before that, going through all these questions, threatening this, that, and the other. It's the same with these people that come to your door, TV licensing and what have you. When they stand there and start reading you your Miranda rights. Well, they don't have the right to read you that.
They don't have the right to read your rights.
Nope. They do
Sorry,
not.
I just had to say that. I'm reiterating, they don't have the right to read you your rights.
I mean, I used to point out to the police, because I don't talk to them unless I have to. And I just one year said, no, I'm not bothered, mate. You say what you want. I'm not going to answer you. You can go fuck yourself. I don't want to speak to you no more. And he said, right, well, if you don't give us this information, we can arrest you. I said, well, what are you going to arrest me for? He said, well, not giving you information. I said, go on then, read me Miranda rights. First words out of his mouth was, you have the right to remain silent. I said, there you go. I've got the right to remain silent. So why are you arresting me for not saying anything? And he couldn't argue with it. Oh, my fucking throat. I probably will knock it on the head at 9 o'clock again tonight, folks. I'm not feeling my best at the moment. I've got a lot on my plate going on at the moment as well. But it's mainly my throat and my eyes are the biggest problem. Yeah, the door knockers, JW, we don't get many of them here, and usually I abuse them verbally. They don't bother coming back.
Our address is known. It's
Yes,
on a blacklist.
it's blacklisted. The Labour canvassers for the local election found that out to their cost.
Good night, Jen.
See you, Jen.
Should be up on Friday.
Yeah, hopefully, because I don't come on the panel a lot on a Friday, I don't do a lot of talking. My throat might hold up. Yeah, it's funny. I've got a lot of scarring down there, mainly from a car fire years ago when I was racing. Didn't actually get burnt, but I drew in a lot of the hot air and the fumes and what have you, and it actually scarred it. And as I've got older, obviously the scarring tightens up with the skin and that, and it's only the last 6 months or so I've started getting croaky. I've always had a breathing issue, but I was dealing with it. But it's the last month or so, it's got real worse, me breathing especially. I mean, I used to quite happily struggle on and walk round to the hospital when I had appointments. I mean, it's only 10 minutes walk round the corner, if that. And it started taking me nearly an hour sometimes to get there. And now I can't do it. Heather has to drop me off and pick me up. No, it's something it's been ongoing for years. So.
That was the other thing. I was going to get some more lamb soups.
Yeah.
I'll have to go out again.
Yeah, you can get the proper stuff for your throat rather than honey as well, Stu. But with Scar and that, it doesn't make any. I'm not bringing up any phlegm or anything like that. It just it's tight more than anything, but it does restrict the breathing. It started to get worse actually after I had the bypass when they opened me right up across my stomach and took all my guts out and put them in a tray while they did the work and then put them back in. It might be pressing on that. Plus, since I've been inactive, I have put on a bit of weight as well, which I wasn't exactly happy about. But
I'll stop buying cake.
I can't exercise to get it off, unfortunately. The only way I can do it is diet, which I will have to stop doing.
Stop doing.
But I am getting better. I've made a whole bar of chocolate last nearly a week now. Before, that would be lucky if it survived an hour. Yeah, honey's good for a lot of stuff. It's also an antiseptic, believe it or not. Yeah, Lodge, you know what I'm like. I love me chocolate, man. And the grandkids bought me that yard of chocolate one year for Christmas. It was gone by Boxing Day. I think it was 5 big bars, the same as that one. By Boxing Day, that was gone. It only took me just under a week to eat a whole box of 48 cabbage cream eggs I got given for my birthday. Again, that was Heather's daughter bought me a box of them, a complete box. They didn't last long at all.
And I think I had 2.
Yeah, I gave you 2, and there was 48 in the box, and you had 2. Terrible.
Yes, he was. He was very upset because he thought it was 1 bar, and then he realised it would bend. So then he thought it was all broken, and that was disappointing. And then he opened it and found there were lots of bars in there.
It was 5 of the big ones, wasn't it?
Yeah. But having said that, I went to Aldi and bought us both a bar of chocolate. His was 1 bar, mine was a pack of little ones. So when I've gone, I've still got mine left. He's gone, yeah, but you had lots of little ones. Does it really make a difference?
It's my logical way of thinking, isn't it?
I've had more because mine are little ones.
Yeah, but don't forget, this one's 3 times as thick as your little ones.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. Oh. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm not buying bloody Manuka honey.
I very rarely use honey, Stu. I like it mixed in with, pardon me, the mayonnaise when I'm having something like a ploughman's in the dressing. Good night, Taff. Take care, buddy. as I say, I should be knocking it on the head around 9 o'clock anyway, so give my throat a rest. And there probably won't be a video tomorrow either. I'm going to try and give myself a day's rest. It's although for most people it hasn't been a busy week, for me it's been quite hectic, and it does wear me out.
And you haven't slept very well this week?
I haven't been sleeping at all well. I mean, I'm in bed about 9, half 9 anyway. And most days this week I've been up at 2:30, 3 o'clock. I normally get a bit of a kip through the day. As I get worn down a bit, I usually kick back and lay down and rest for a couple of hours. But I haven't even been able to do that this week. I don't know why.
Because I woke you up.
He pops in now and again, Lodger. He has commented on a few of the videos over a while. Oh, what the fuck did I press there? Oh, bollocks.
What have you done?
Oh, I've pressed buttons all over the place here and I don't know what I've done. Oh, there we go. We're back. But yeah, there are people in here, Lodge, that you know, you don't know who they are. As I've always said, anybody's welcome as long as they're respectful. Gordo.
Got my doubts about Gordo.
It might be him. I don't know if he has or not, Lodge. But there are 1 or 2 people, as most of my regulars know, that I won't have in here. I won't go on any channels where they are. Because I just can't be bothered to deal with them, you know.
Well, I can say that Taffy has a couple of subscribers and no streams or anything up. So if it's the same one, he doesn't keep his things up.
No, that's what I said. He's commented on the videos regular,
Yeah.
and he's always been respectful. So
yeah,
I treat it as that. You know, I have had people in here that, 1 or 2 that I have kicked off because it's someone I know that's come in under another name, and I found out, and they instantly get blocked. People like that, because this is the reason I've always said I never wanted a big channel. I like to get to know the people. You know, I try to treat everybody as a friend. I don't take no shit from nobody. But some people have lied to me. Other people have done other things and what have you. And I won't put up with that. And I don't fuck around. I don't care who it is. If they're out of order, they're gone. No messing.
At the end of the day, we're there to enjoy a stream, to talk to people we want to talk to. Anybody that gives us grief, we don't want to be sharing time with them. We don't want them upsetting anybody else. So we're both of the same mind. Piss me off, you're gone.
Exactly. I've always run the channel like that. Everybody knows that. I don't get involved in any drama streams. There was 1 or 2 people that got involved in other streams that I used to go on, and they're gone from there as well. So, yeah, it absolutely, Stu. Absolutely, mate. You know, I've got enough problems to deal without dealing with idiots.
But they can be fake. It doesn't matter if they are fake and they're coming on here and not being true to who they are. As long as they don't upset us, they can.
Yeah, as long as they're taking part in the stream and they're being respectful. If I find out somebody's lied to me and they're not who they say they are, then yeah, that's a different matter. But
who was that royal fellow we used to have? Wills.
There was 2 or 3, weren't there? They were decent and a good fun to start with.
They came on and had a bit of a laugh, and the names they were using were obviously not the real name, but that's not an issue.
No. I mean, I use my real name because I don't hide from nobody. I'm me. You see what you get. I don't need to use another name. I mean, the grumpy old git name, that's just
accurate.
It's accurate. Yeah, very accurate sometimes. Somebody called it me once on a stream.
You're known as Grumpy Grandad.
And it stuck. There are several other Grumpies out there, and Mr. Grumpies, some I know. 1, 2 I've met. But I added a git just so there's no confusion about who's who. But this is the thing with the internet and social media. You can be totally anonymous. I mean, if you put a VPN on or something like that, people can't even trace you. They won't find you. But I don't do that. I'm open. I'm honest. Believe me, if there's somebody that came in and I didn't like what they were saying and I didn't particularly like them, I would tell them. Same as I would anybody in public. I would tell them face to face. But no, Taffy's never been disrespectful. He's always courteous and gives comments. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. They might have a different opinion to me. That's not a problem.
But they're wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong. But as I said, you can have a difference of opinion and be respectful about it.
But you're wrong, because I am.
Yeah, well, you're always right, aren't you?
You're always right. I'm always wrong. I come up with a difference of opinion, and you just tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm wrong.
But I always have the last words, don't I? Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
But no, I've been lucky that way, Lodge. I mean, as I said, I never set out to have a big channel. We've actually reached the number that was always my upper target, which was 500. We've gone over that now.
But that was because when you at one point you couldn't go live until you got 500 subs.
Yeah.
So you wanted 500 so you could go live.
But yeah, I same in my videos. I don't get a lot of views. The odd 1 or 2 videos will go a bit crazy at times. I mean, if I get 100 views, I class it as gone viral. But I like to answer every comment. And if you've got thousands of comments, you can't do that. You just haven't got the time. Yeah, that's the thing, Stu. But like I say, I don't hide from anybody. I'm not that well now, but, I've always said if people want to come and have a go personally, turn up on my fucking doorstep and let's go through it.
They'll throw me at them.
Yeah, I'll let you sit on them while I kick the shit out of them.
Could do that.
Yeah, that's the thing, Stu. I mean, there are, people that aren't accepted anywhere, but they can go online. You can be anonymous. It's personal thing. I just don't do it.
Back in the day, it was the CB that was a lot of people's contact with the outside world.
Mm.
They were housebound, but they could talk to the truckers as they went past.
Yeah.
They could talk to their mates down the road, round the corner, and whatever. Then AOL became the big one with their chat rooms.
Yeah.
That you could, and now it's things like this. we've moved on. It's slightly different scenario, but anybody can access these.
But like I said, so there is a dark side to social media, obviously, because people can be anonymous. This is what the online safety bill was supposed to be for. Unfortunately, the governments, this one and the last one, haven't been using it for what they said it was designed for. Most of it is designed for censorship. Excuse me. And I don't mean, all right, censorship of certain things. Absolutely fine. You can't have people threatening people and shit like that. But just censoring words, it's got to the point where you can't have a decent conversation underneath the video because YouTube just haven't got the brains to recognize humor, sarcasm. I mean, Facebook and Twitter are just as bad. I mean, I've got a friend was joking with a very good friend of hers in America. And I can't remember it was something like, they were talking, joking, and they used the word, I think it was suicide or something like that in it, in the conversation. And straight away she got a 30-day ban. But they were actually joking and laughing like you would to a mate in a pub. But Facebook took it as, no, you can't say that. Boom, you're gone. 30 days, jail. I've still got two out in the shed, JW. Neither of them work. There's K40 aerial out there as well. But it had been around in this country for a few years before Convoy. We had the old AM sets quite a way back, but they weren't as popular. They became more popular after the film Convoy. And of course, then the government caught onto it, so they changed the frequency and then started charging people for a license. Yeah, that's what I mean. I've always said you can't give offence, you can only take offence. And this is the problem with the woke culture and the woke people today. They'll take offence to anything. And, you do have to be careful, but as I say, if someone stands in front of me and starts announcing their pronouns, well, I'd walk away. I said, I ain't fucking talking to you. You get the one that them, they. Oh, sorry, I talk to one person at a time. Go away. Same as the gender bollocks. They claim to be so many genders. When you go in for gender realignment, gender surgery, they can only create 2 genders. So where does the rest come from? Trans, yes. There are trans. You can transform from one to the other, but there's only 2 that you can transform from, or 2. Yeah, I don't follow a lot of American politics, JW. It's such a weird one to get your fucking head around. Yeah, I never had a license, Gordo. Not even on FM. They did catch me once with a big sideband unit. Because we used to DX all around the world. But,
QDX.
And they are tight as well. I got onto 2 meters at one point. Yeah, if you ain't got a dick, you ain't no chick. Exactly, Lodge. I got thrown off for 2 meters because I didn't take the exam, wasn't registered, didn't have a proper call sign. And most of the ham operators, they've got a list of all the call signs. If you're not on there, you're not registered, you're not licensed, they won't speak to you, and they will track you down to a certain extent and report you, which is fair enough, you know. But that was the biggest issue, was AM was always the frequency it started on. And then Europe and Britain come into line and decided, no, we're going to use FM.
Well, the problem with the AM was it was on the same frequencies as hospital radios.
It was slightly off their frequencies, but it did interfere with a lot.
Yeah.
But if you're close enough, it'll interfere with stuff anyway, even FM will. It depends on the power output.
Yes.
That's why it was restricted 4 watts.
Yes.
I mean, I think with the sideband, I think I was running something stupid, like about 500 watts or something, with a big sideband rig. You couldn't use it on a car battery. It just drained the battery in 5 minutes. Yeah, we used to go up on the top of the Berkshire Downs, Gordo. My mate used to get out and bolt a 32-foot dipole to the back of his van. And we used to sit up there. But he used to have a generator running to run it all. And whatever, but they caught me at home. My mum and dad had gone away for a weekend or a week or something. And by the time they'd come back, I'd put my big dipole up out the back, strapped it to the back of the house. But I was bleeding all over the local tellies and what have you. And a lot of the residents in the village where I lived, they were complaining that their kids were up all times of the day and night. Because obviously with 500 watts, you didn't even have to have anything plugged in to listen. If you had a radio or a TV, the speaker wires would pick up the RF and it would come out over the tellies and radios.
Mine didn't affect my telly, but it affected next door's.
It was back in the good old days. But there again, even during the illegal AM days, I mean, the local marathon back home, I mean, the marathon runners and the athletic club always had us monitoring. We had stations around the route and letting them know when the last runners had come through and stuff like that. A couple of times, even the police had come to us and said, look, you know, can you put out over the air that there's a missing kid here, there, with a description. Anybody had a motor stolen, we'd put the reg out and description over the airways. Which back then, it was the only way of getting that sort of information out there. And it did do a lot of good. But again, even on the CB radios, there was the ones that misused it. You know, they'd be swearing at kids on there that were using it, because all ages used to be on there. And Rotel 240 in the car. I went back way before them ones, Gordo. Of course, the one, what was the biggest one I had in the car? It was the TriStar, I think it was, the 727 or 747. Sideband unit was the biggest one I ever had in a car. Hello, Resist. You're in late, mate. I'll be shutting down in a bit. Well, very shortly, actually. How are you doing, mate? You coping?
What time do you call this, Resist? Far too late. Consider yourself chastised.
Slap on bum, lad.
No, don't say things
Just
like that.
so-
He might be into that sort of thing. We don't know. As long as you're still with us, Resist, that's what matters, mate.
All right, JW, take care, bud. Thank you for dropping in. Yeah, I think that stepping back a little bit has done you a bit of good, and it Resist. It clears the head quite a bit. I've started taking the odd day off now, like tomorrow, unless there's anything desperate I want to put out. I probably won't do a video tomorrow. I certainly haven't made any notes or followed anything today. And I can't be asked to report out on the Middle East. To me, it's just a pointless thing. If they want to carry on killing each other out there, let them fucking get on with it. It's things like, the mainstream media aren't putting out the relevant stories. That's all they're covering. Like the acid attack in London, which you probably know about. All we've had is the basics, that a 14-year-old girl has been very seriously injured, life-changing injuries, 2 more in hospital. That's it. That's all we've heard on that. Haven't heard anything from the police about it. Well, I have to look at some of it, Resist, simply because that's where, I don't listen to what they say about things, but, the stories come out there, and then you can go and look at them, look at the truth behind it. Yeah, I used to run average 10 watts as normal Gordo, but on the big one, when I was at home, I used to run 500 watts. Yeah, it is, Stu. It's a disgusting thing to do. Yeah, I said in today's video, Resist, that you're probably safer off living in Lebanon than you are in fucking London at the moment. The thing is, Stu, it's a very painful thing as well. I know that for a fact. We used to work with acids, hydrochloric, and real strong ones in the tanneries. You use it as part of the tanning process. And now and again, oh, it's frozen again. Thank you, Gordo. You'd splash a bit on your hands, or the back of your hands, if you didn't have your gloves on. And believe me, it is painful. At least with flame burns, your nerves go all dead. The nerve ends get fried, and until you're in a recovery, you don't really feel a lot of pain over it. But with acid burns, you do. Yeah, I can imagine, Resist. I can imagine. I mean, we used to get a lot of the trick-or-treaters around here, but you don't get them now. It's just not safe. The only ones that are coming knocking on the door are like the later 15-year-olds, and all they want is money. Nah. It's an American thing that it was exported to this country. Halloween in this country traditionally used to be the original traditional thing, the witches and the wizards. All Hallows Eve. There was none of this knocking on the door and dressing up in costumes and stuff. And firework night, yeah, we used to go and sit on the corner in the local town with a little cart with the pram wheels on with the homemade guy in it.
Well, that was the thing. You didn't do Halloween because you did bonfire night.
Yeah. But right, guys, that's 9 o'clock. I'm going to call that it. I'm going to go and see if I can get something down my neck, because even eating it can be painful at times with the throat now. Yeah, exactly, Stu. Don't
You're-
talk to strangers. Don't take sweets from strangers. But once a year, it's all right to go round and knock on doors and ask for them.
You're
But,
hungry after all that tea you
no, I
had.
mean something to soothe my throat, not
Oh, you
food.
want to, yeah, okay.
Because it is rather sore. I'll probably have
It
another
sounds
lemon
very
sip.
croaky. I'll give you that.
It's getting sore. Again,
Sounds very croaky. I will give you that. It sounds like it's getting sore.
so. But don't forget, guys. As usual, hopefully you'll be live Friday this week.
Yeah, hopefully.
Now you're feeling a bit better. And that was the only reason it didn't happen last Friday is because we were both not very well. No
Well,
problem, Stu. No problem, mate.
That's what I put in my little message to the world. You know, if you'd have been a bit better,
Thank you, Marine.
I might have asked you to do it. But between we,
I couldn't have done it between us, let
No.
alone one of us on our own.
no,
But and I am feeling a bit tired as well. I was up at 2:30 this morning. So, all right, guys. Saying that, have a wonderful rest of the evening that's out there. I dare say there'll be some late night streams running somewhere for anybody that wants to join in on them. I don't have a problem. But until the next one, Friday, as always, stay safe, stay strong, and stay free. With that, it's good night from me.
and it's good night from him.
Take care,
Mate.
people. Look after yourselves and each other.
Night all.